I think there's a serious problem with the fact that Michael Bay ran this into the ground and then got out when the getting was good, and not a lot of people saw uh, Bumblebee, which was actually really, really good and perfect for a Transformers movie. And this is a continuation of that, and it's still kind of cursed by the fact that you know Michael Bay's just people are
Well,
still
he's still
thinking that
the
this is more Michael Bay, and it
He's still
isn't.
the
he's still the
executive
exec producer.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he's
Well,
still
yeah,
I
but
mean, that don't
he's
mean
not in
nothing. It's
charge.
just, yeah.
You can tell by the fact that you can follow the plot.
There was literally no orbital shots. How is it it's not a Michael Bay movie? There's no orbital shots.
this is true.
Where is my
Yeah.
hot women in lingerie? There's none of that in this movie.
Okay,
Not a
so
Michael Bay movie.
I have
will
my
say
list
this.
of bad and good about this. If you'd like to. Hear it.
We'll get to it. Bumblebee made 468 million.
That's not bad.
And I do think that it wasn't. It's well, two things. These
Word
movies
of
do
mouth got
really
around.
good internationally. Like
Yeah,
Japan and China love these movies, obviously.
because they get to
it's-
sit in a big air conditioned room for like 2 hours, so it's awesome.
And then the thing is, I do think Bumblebee didn't do that great at first, and word of mouth, if I remember correctly, it started
Yeah.
doing better because it was like, oh, this is much better than the last Transformers movie.
Right.
So yeah, and then we did do a little poll over on Twitter asking our audience what they thought. We gave them 4 options: best Transformers ever, it was good, it was meh, and I didn't like it at all. Believe it or not, there's a tie for it was good and it was meh at 29.6%.
That's the internet for you. Right there. Right
I didn't like it at all because the next highest at 25.9, and it was the best Transformers ever, got 14.8% of the vote. So, yeah, kind of like mixed. A lot of people are apparently all over about this movie, at least initial reactions. So, let's see what you guys thought. What was your non-spoilers at the moment? What was your initial reaction to this movie? Randy, you can go first.
I have wasted 2 hours in worse ways. There you go.
Okay.
Good. Add that to the testimonies for this movie.
Yeah.
It was
That's
a movie.
That's a perfect book flap quote.
Yeah.
You know,
Movie.
I've seen worse.
I've seen worse. Hollywood, LA Times.
I was not unimpressed.
How about you, John?
Okay, I'll give you my bad, my good. Is that okay? Okay,
Sure.
bad. I could follow the action. Severe lack of lens flares. The explosions were too small and flaccid. No women were objectified.
Yeah.
Some of the movie actually made sense. And I could recognize the individual Transformers. You shouldn't have that. They should be all angular and piecing. The good, it did have a sky beam.
Oh yeah, you got to have a Skype.
Humans
Sky beam.
that would have the humans still would have died within 3 seconds after first contact.
And
But they still lived. None of the Transformer personalities were explained or explored, and they're pulling for Beast Wars, so that's a crime. The stakes were, as they always were, world ending, and the movie contained a random MacGuffin that drove the whole plot. Those were the good things. So yeah,
okay, so basically, what you're saying is the good things are business as usual, and the bad things are here's what they tried to change to make it better.
but
don't think you're-
overall, it was way better than the Michael Bay movies. You know, like seriously, it was way better, but it still had his stamp on it. I kind of got the same feeling off of this movie that I got off of the first Wonder Woman movie when what's his name helped write the end of it. Shoot, the guy the guy who wrote the
Snyder?
Snyder, yeah, Zack Snyder. He helped write the end of the Wonder Woman, which is why it ended with a stupid, battle with Hades instead of exploring what they could have done. But I got this still had Michael Bay's stamp on it. It just wasn't as prevalent, and so they were able to do better. So there you go.
Okay, what's Drew say here? They are still using character models reminiscent of the Bay movies, so I'm still influenced by
It's still influenced by the Bay
Bayformers.
Yeah, love it.
I like that. I like that term, man. Bayformers.
They are
All about
also
turning
using
the
character
stars.
models that would be perfect for other characters. Yeah.
Well, I mean, the transformations were way more close to what they were in the cartoons, and that the character models were more recognizable than they were in Michael Bay stuff. In Michael Bay stuff, it was just all these, it was almost like nanites.
All right.
Or a bunch of scrap metal transforming. Is basically
You were just mush. Just
Yeah. It's,
So
there is no rhyme or reason to it.
so John needs to learn what the term non-spoiler means. But my initial thoughts are kind of this is why I hate prequels.
This wasn't a prequel, though. This is an entirely new timeline.
This was a sequel
but that
to
is
a
not-
prequel.
But here's the whole thing. It's a sequel to a prequel, and it doesn't they don't explain it's a new timeline. It's just it's a new timeline. Like there's nothing because it's the same, a lot of the same characters, the same voice actors. Obviously, you're gonna have what's his face always do the voice of Optimus Prime.
Yeah, he's gonna die eventually.
Yeah, but it's just like so I don't and Bumblebee, your two main heroes still.
Okay.
Go ahead.
So no, something about what you said that they didn't explain that it was a new timeline. Was it Capel Stephen or Stephen Capel Jr., the guy who directed it? Will not on the record say whether or not this is a new timeline. Every
Right.
time he's been asked point blank, he will not say it. It's like now here and the theory is that because they brought in the Beast machines, basically the was not Predacons, the Maximals, because they brought them in. Well, the Maximals have been bebopping through time throughout the entire continuity. So it could be that because you've brought in the Beast machines, that time has once again been changed. Because they say even when Optimus Maximal when he got introduced, he said, "We're both from your future and your past."
Right.
So I'm assuming that these guys,
Okay.
because they have already, yeah, I know. Hey, spoilers.
Let me-
There's
Guardians!
Can I-
but you see,
Hit the button!
can I
Spoilers!
wait, I've got a wall full of yarn. No, it's like I've got this string on the cork board.
Look, again, and I'm also going to say maybe I missed something. I don't think I did, because the way you're talking right now makes me feel like no, I didn't miss something. They're just kind of like,
They're
yeah,
trying to make it up as they go
we're
along.
just
like,
making it up.
Or
as we
maybe
go
they
along.
have-
"We're
or
from
maybe
the
they have
future, but from
plans."
the past as well.
Well, no, they obviously have plans, and we'll talk about the ending later.
Yeah, and I'm gonna
But-
say, and then like, I don't know. It wasn't. I'm kind of like where Randy is. It's not the worst movie I've ever seen.
Right?
It's definitely not the worst of the Transformers movies. I think what was The Last Night is probably the worst of them.
I haven't seen that one.
Oh,
But I'm pretty sure the Dark Side, the second one, is the worst one.
Dark Side of the Moon.
The one with the Zion balls.
Oh God, yeah.
Yeah, that's the worst
It's-
one.
yeah.
Because if I'd heard to describe, I didn't have to like give you the rest of the movie. Just like Zion balls. Yeah, that's the worst Transformer movie. I think
oh,
sucks the
I
worst.
can't think of his name. The Silence of the Lambs. Hannibal Lecter.
Anthony
Right.
Hopkins.
Anthony
Hopkins,
when
right.
Anthony Hopkins shows up phoning it in, it's like, okay. Like, why is he in this movie? That's the last night. You're like,
that's all the Thor movies too.
Yeah. No, the score in this movie took itself way too seriously at some points, you know?
yeah,
Like it was still Michael Bay's score, definitely.
Yeah.
Because it was like grand and
right.
yeah, you're supposed to be feeling it's like basically beating you on the head with a bat going, feel this. It's
so
like, and you're sitting there going, it's not matching what I'm watching, man.
Yeah.
So I feel the consensus is it could be worse. It's not great, but it could be worse. So thanks for watching this clip from the Superhero Speak podcast. And don't forget to watch us live every Sunday night right here on this channel.
While you're here, hit the subscribe button and click the bell for notifications so you won't miss out on any of our great upcoming content.
Speaking of content, don't forget to check out our website, superheroespeak.com, where you can find the podcast, links to our social media, merch, comic reviews, and so much more. That's superheroespeak.com.
Thanks for watching, and don't let your cape be caught in the door. See you next time.